31st World Backgammon Championships got underway at the Fairmont Luxury Resort in Monte Carlo. 335 backgammon players came together from all corners of the globe to compete for their share of the €240,000 in prize money. Big name casualties in the first round were Malcolm Davis of the USA and Jürgen Granstedt from Sweden, a two-time world champion. We pick up Andreas Humke's third round match against Frank Gonzenhauser of South Africa, a close match to 19 where neither player had more than a 3-point lead.
I don't get too emotional. I know that I can win or whatever, but the most important thing is don't think about too much what you can win and how you can feel if you win. That you can do if you're last 8 or something like this. Here, just try to bring your best backgammon to the board.
Andreas simply needs to bring one checker around the board to win this game and the match. Frank stays on the bar and Humke now one roll away. Cocked dice, he rolls again. And amazingly, he cannot bring his last checker to safety. We have seen the young German in some extraordinary matches, some long matches and tense matches. Will luck prevail on his side here in the third round? So after Frank brings in both checkers, Andreas has another chance to win the game. And amazingly, he can't clear his last checker. This is Frank's last chance to hit. The game comes down to this roll. He's unable to do so and concedes.
Yeah, it was a very tiny match, of course. Nobody ever had a lead higher than 3 points. And when it comes down to a distance like 5-point match, when the score is 14-14 to 19, that is the same as we never played before and agreed to play to 5 points. So the shorter the match is, the more concentrated you should be, even if you feel tired. Every single nuance becomes more important. And I play a lot of short matches in the internet every day. I have a good feeling for it. My next opponent is going to be David Namad. He was world champion in 1997 or 8, I don't know exactly, or 1996. He's living here in Monte Carlo. He's been beating a very good Danish player. So, another tough match.
Back to Jeremy Bagai's third round match with Ian Cowell from Brazil. Jeremy had a comfortable lead throughout the match, but the young Brazilian is not giving up. How does a player prepare for a match?
Largely you don't. You hope to know how to play already. Really, if you've been playing for a long time, and certainly if you've been studying with the neural networks, and you've read everything that's been written about the game, at that point there's just there's not going to be some magic. If I study this and understand how to play this position, then suddenly the game is going to go well.
It has come down to double match point and the dice are not favouring Jeremy. The game has turned into a pure race in which the dice will determine all. The expression on Jeremy's face tells the story. It looks to be all over here. Jeremy is simply too far behind in the race. Pia Jepsen is standing by to see who she will meet in the next round. And yes, it's going to be Ian Cowell of Brazil.
I felt like I was playing probably a little bit better, but it didn't matter. I had a big lead. He gammoned me at 6-away, 2-away, and he won double match point. There's no lead that's safe. There's never a lead that's safe in backgammon. I won 2 matches in the main, I won 2 matches in the super. I had many visions of glory. I can still have glory, but a little bit back to earth. People lose backgammon matches. It's like Boris Becker said, you know, there wasn't a war, no one died.
Round 3 comes to an end, as too does Jeremy's run. However, the tournament is still heating up, with many players still in the hunt to be crowned the 31st World Backgammon Champion.
This is one of the rarest tournaments in the world because there must be 50 different languages spoken at this tournament.
Let me get somebody. Come here, Aaron. Come here. You've gotten this guy's picture. He's been here 31 damn years in a row. Can you imagine? That's why he looks so old. He's only 56 years old. Look at him. Nav's head is Irish. You can tell that. Say something.
Hello, I am Nevzat Dogan. I live in Denmark.
Where are you from? Tell him.
From Georgia, Georgia.
Georgia. Good.
Georgia.
I got a house in Georgia.
Okay.
But my house is near Atlanta.
From Cape Town, hi.
Frankfurt.
I am from Argentina.
Marvin Qatar from Sweden.
Turkey.
I'm California, San Francisco, USA.
I'm from Belgium.
I'm from Japan.
Brazil. Original from Afghanistan. Live in Germany.
Basically Ukraine, with Israeli nationality, working in Moscow.
I'm from Germany,
Whereabouts?
near Stuttgart.
Near Stuttgart? This is a consolation match, isn't it?
No, it's still the main.
The main?
Yes.
Oh, terrific. These guys could be eventual winners. And where are you from?
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Wonderful. I've been there many times. I love it. Folks, you've just seen what most people that play backgammon look like. Now I want you to get a look at what we wish they looked like.
Here's a position that came up in a match of mine in the Super Jackpot. Black, in this case me, rolls a 5-3. We can see quickly that black is far behind in the race, right? To make black more even, black would have to be over here to make these symmetric. And even then, white's on roll. But way back over here, black is losing the race. So black would like to maintain contact. One way that black might do that is to play a 5 and maybe a 3. Breaking my 6 point over here means that even though I maintain contact, if I get a shot and hit it, it's not likely to be very effective because my board is broken. One of the things we've been learning from the computers is it's really helpful to keep your board, that's a big strength that you have. So what are some other options that black might have? The beginner's play is to move this checker as close as possible, minimizing the number of shots that white can hit with. This is an easy mistake to make. It's a mistake that players even of advanced ability might make because it looks very natural. This checker gets hit less often than over here. Over here, the only way that white can hit this checker is with a 1. And that happens 11 times in 36. So white has just 1s to hit. If I stay back, white can hit with more shots. Any 4 is the same 11, plus double 1s, plus double 2s, plus 3-1 are all different ways for this checker to hit me over here. That would be an extra 4 shots. So it looks reasonable to say I don't want to give those extra 4 shots, let me move the checker forward. But it's a mistake, and here's why. Once you play this 5, if you then play this 3, it's true, white hits more often. On the other hand, white also has some bad rolls now. White could roll a 6-1 and leave a shot. White could roll a 6-2 or a 6-3. All of those numbers leave shots. White could roll a 5-1 or a 5-2 or a 5-3. And then white has to make the decision, do I want to leave a shot or do I want to break my board and slow myself down in the race? Staying back here, black gets hit a few more times but creates many bad rolls for white. Moving to here, black gets hit a few less times, but white has no bad numbers whatsoever. Numbers either move past, and then you're winning the race, or they hit, in which case that's very good. So staying back here, although a little more dangerous, actually creates much better winning chances for black because it creates some bad numbers for white. But just to show how silly a game backgammon is, here's what happened in the Super Jackpot. White rolled double 2s. 1, 2, 3, and 4. A great shot for white. I'm feeling very depressed. I'm wondering, did I actually make the right play? And then look what happens. I don't have to roll because I'm closed out. White's next roll is a 6-4. Now, if you look at 6-4, what do you see? You see it has to leave a shot, the 6 has to do something, the 4 has to do something, one of these is going to open. White played it correctly, played a 4 and then a 6 off, and my next roll was a 6-5. The 6-5 is an excellent shot here. I didn't even have to move my checkers. We both looked at the position, saw that I would hit, saw that I would come to here. I looked at my opponent, he nodded and he moved his checkers back because that was the end of the game.
We now resume play in the fourth round with Pia Jeppesen of Denmark playing Ian Cow of Brazil.
The game was very tight. There were no big swings. There were no one leading big. We were very close the whole match. And then the game before the last game, it was 13-13. And I had the cue up on 2 and I end up with 1 checker with closed board. And I only need to get this checker around and off. And I lose a gammon. So that was very expensive to lose 4 games in that game.
After losing a gammon in the previous game, Pia is now in danger of losing another gammon here, which would cost her the match. She would love to roll a double here. Unfortunately unable to do so. And another step closer to victory, the Brazilian. It is very late now and both players are doing well just to maintain concentration. Pia is looking at all options to move the checkers. She wants the best possible combination to be able to bear off a checker to save the gammon. Pia, the last remaining woman in the tournament, she has her back against the wall. She needs to throw a double on her next roll if she wants to save losing a gammon. And losing a gammon here, we know, will give the match to the Brazilian. And Ian Carr will knock Pia out of the tournament.
He played very, very strong. I didn't see mistakes and he was definitely a strong player. So I'm not angry that I lost to him because I'm sure that, I don't know if he's the favorite, but we would definitely play equal. So I'm just disappointed that the dices didn't work out for but he was a good opponent. I'm very satisfied with being the last 32. It was big for me, and but now I had the chance to go further, and I really believed that I could win it all. And I had a lot of support from friends and almost people I don't know come and they said that I should win. Now I'm gonna go drink some champagne, even though I have nothing to celebrate, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
The backgammon scene has gone through many, many different eras. There was the famous time in the 70s when Hugh Hefner and celebrities and everyone came and it was a big money game and no one knew how to play. In the 80s it died down and players became better, but it wasn't until the 90s that we had the computers and the Snowy and Jellyfish and all the other neural nets and TD Gammon and such that people actually started to play well. Backgammon now is in an interesting place. There is so much more attention on poker. You can win $1 million at a poker tournament, and at the moment you can't win $1 million playing backgammon. So, the future of backgammon, is backgammon going to get the same momentum that poker has? And the answer is quite clear, no one has any idea.
Of course it's going to grow, because it's a game you never get tired of. So I think, oh yeah, I'm not worried about backgammon since it's the oldest game we have. And the Romans played it, the Celts, everywhere.
I hope that backgammon will be more popular in the future, and it will be as big money as it's in poker right now.
In Denmark, for example, they quite succeeded in making it like almost a national sport. I think some kind of beer brand at one stage started with a tournament. So you have a very large amount of people who play backgammon, also for little money. which I find very nice, because so also students or pupils can take part in the game.
And people, they realize that you can play poker for money online, and now they're gonna find out you can also play backgammon. There is coming a lot of new backgammon pages where you can play online, and that will bring more people. So I think it will rise.
The curator of a museum up there near Geneva is amongst us somewhere around today, and they found a backgammon board that was built in 2000 BC. So if it's lasted that long, I think it'll last another few years.
I think there's a good chance that backgammon could have another resurgence in its popularity. The explosion in poker, of course, has been so amazing, but I think it makes people think about games and how interesting they are, and it's really very good for your brain all your life to think about this. I mean, it's just a great mental exercise.
So it's round 5 here in the 31st World Backgammon Championships. 335 players began the tournament. We're down to the final 16, just one round away from the quarterfinals. It is difficult to understand just what is going through these players' minds. Only a player with the experience of competition at this level can really give insight. Jeremy Bagai is such a player. Tell me, Jeremy, what are the players feeling at this moment?
Well, they're happy to be in the round of 16 in Monte Carlo. That's where they wanted to be. Right here we see Falafel, the well-known and well-liked player, playing against Shino, the restaurateur from London. Falafel's certainly the favorite in this match. However, the dice are all going Shino's way, and Falafel is struggling.
Norwegian backgammon giant Hans Libby meets Philip Fischjager from the Netherlands.
Hans had beaten the American Perry Gartner in the round before.
Well, the Scandinavians are certainly strong at this game. There's plenty of Danes, Swedes and Norwegians that always make their appearance here.
It's very true. The Scandinavian countries have become a powerhouse in backgammon, led on pretty much by the great Jerry Grandel, who dominated backgammon throughout the late 90s.
Well, on this occasion, the Dutchman too strong for Hans Libby, and he will go forward to the quarterfinals. Still here in round 5, and we have another Scandinavian in the Dane, Paul Sorensen. He's up against former world champion from Italy, Luigi Villa.
Luigi won the whole tournament in '79. He's also made it to the semis twice since then. Sometimes we forget that the older style of play can be very effective.
Andreas Humke's opponent in the 5th round is Ian Cow of Brazil. Humke had a good start, 11-4, until Cow came back to square the match at 16-16.
Well, this is pretty much the same thing that happened to me a few rounds earlier. Humke built up a strong lead, and Cow seems to be very good at coming back. Let's just see whether the outcome is going to be the same for Cow in this match.
The 5th round also saw Gad Kamali of Israel and Henrik Winner of Denmark being broadcast as a live session by Snowy, enabling the game to go out in real time on the internet.
And that broadcast is a real treat to the players that aren't able to make it to Monte Carlo. There was expert commentary provided by the super strong Canadian player Hugh McNeil.
The internet has really changed the game backgammon, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been amazing. There was a time when you just couldn't see backgammon being played at the championship level unless you're willing to enter that tournament. But now you can play against the top players, you can watch the top players really at any time of the day or night.
Ray Fogeland of the USA is up against Klaus Weisbarth of Germany.
Ray is a professional fireman and a super strong player, one of the backgammon giants.
And Ray, true to form, goes on to win the match and secures his place in the quarterfinals. We're now back with Luigi Villa and Paul Sorensen.
Luigi's in a commanding position with one of Paul's checkers closed out.
All Luigi needs to do is win this game to move on to the quarterfinals. Luigi really looking confident and calm here.
Yeah, well, this is the position you want to be in. He's got a checker closed out. He's putting his men in the optimal position. All he needs to do is avoid leaving a shot. There's really nothing Paul can do here. He just has to hope to get lucky and get a shot and hit it. So Luigi has finally opened up his 6-point. Paul really doesn't want to enter. He wants to stay on the bar and hope to hit a shot, but he comes in. Now it's simply a race. Paul's quite a bit behind. He can roll a few big sets of doubles and maybe equalize. He has 2 checkers off, but here Luigi has 4 checkers off. It's going to be a tough battle. 3-1 is not the way that he wants to do this. That's not what you want to roll in these situations, so he's struggling to stay alive.
So Luigi looking very comfortable at this stage. Really only the luck of the dice can save Sorensen now.
Yep, that's the case, and after his 3-1 he rolled a 2-1, so this looks like this is all but determined. We can see, strangely enough, it's not over. If it were over, they would pick up the dice and walk away. We're about to see what kind of parlay we would actually need. Paul's looking at the situation. The number of checkers he has left, he would need an amazing sequence of small rolls from Luigi and big rolls from him. But of course, they're going to play it out until it's mathematically determined. Interestingly, there Luigi rolls a 2-1, his worst number, and it opens up some sequences where Paul might roll a set or 2 and suddenly have a game.
Well, the door almost closed on Sorensen now, and Luigi is in a very strong position.
Yeah, with this roll, he certainly could win the match. But he rolls a 2. This leaves, in fact, you can see Sorensen counting it out here. This leaves a really unlikely parlay. He'd have to roll a big double. Luigi would have to roll a specific 2-1 and then another double. He doesn't do it, and that's the match.
So Luigi the victor, and look at that, good sportsmanship at the end, the friendly handshake, and great to see players very friendly at the end of a tough match like that.
Well, that's the case. Backgammon's not a war. It's sometimes players are happy to talk about the match. Sometimes players are not so happy and want to walk away quickly. These two guys are being very social, and that's nice to see.
Well, look at this. You can see Luigi's young daughter. She's impressed with his performance, and she'll be happy to support him as he now goes into the quarterfinals. And in a tight battle between Humke and Cow, it is Humke up 2019 Crawford. If Humke wins this game, he will progress through to the quarterfinals. A closer look here at Andreas, and we see he's wearing earplugs.
Yeah, some of the players like to do that as a way of just drowning out all distractions. This is now becoming a pretty important match. This is, face it, the round of 16. The winner goes to the quarterfinals. So we see here that Humke has a commanding lead in the race. He's got 1 point left to clear, and then it's all over. All Cow can do right now is build his board and wait for a shot.
Well, we have seen Andreas in tight games like this before. He's managed to come through his matches regardless of any swings against him. Is there going to be another swing here against him?
We'll find out in just a few rolls. He's really got this locked up. He's just got now just 2 checkers in front of Cow's final point. You can see... Oh no, he rolls an ace!
He's throwing a 1, and that forces him to leave a shot.
Cow can win this game with an ace. He doesn't, and it's pretty much over. Humke has to roll double aces to not win this game. He goes by, the game is over.
I'm happy that I finally won. It was a very close match, but it's more or less logical that this match becomes so close. He's a good player, and if 2 opponents are even ice, the luck has to decide. So finally, the dice favored me.
Well, he's certainly a strongest player than I am, and I managed to make it quite difficult for him. I even got ahead on 19-16, which was very good. Then I got gammoned in a. He rolled a really lucky roll, double 4s, and ended up gammoning me. Otherwise, well, but it was a great match. And on this last one, he just rolled it. It was too easy, but that's it. That was good. My first time here, and good tournament. It's sad losing at this stage and this way late in 19-16, but whatever.
There are three ways to win a backgammon position. There's racing, there's attacking, and there's priming. Backgammon becomes very complex, all sorts of things happen over the board, but really those are the three ways that you end up winning the game: racing, attacking, and priming. Here let's look at priming. We see that both sides have some checkers in their home board and a checker trapped behind those checkers. So here's a good home board and a checker trapped behind. Black rolls a 6-4 in this position, and depending upon your backgammon vision, you might see one or two things instantly. If you're a beginning player, a very beginning player, the first thing you might see is 6 and 4, hits, covers, closes out your opponent. Closing your opponent out is usually the strongest position you can end up in because you've achieved the objective of making your opponent helpless on the bar. He doesn't even roll, and now it's time for you to just bring the position home. In this position, however, that's the worst move possible. That's the only play that guarantees a loss. Every other play could be better. And the reason is because black is trapped behind a full 6-point prime over here. And what's clear to someone who plays the game is that this checker cannot escape, no matter what he rolls, no matter how long he rolls. Until they make dice with the number 7 on them, this checker is stuck. So this checker is going to stay here until this whole structure collapses. And we can take a second and see what's going to happen. White can't roll. Black rolls. Black rolls a 3-1. White can't roll. Black rolls double 6s. White can't roll. Black rolls again. Now black rolls a 6-3, and look what happens. All black can do is play that 3. Now white's in a great position. White can either fan by not coming in, and then the situation continues, or white can roll a 6 and hit. But regardless, this checker hasn't moved and cannot escape. That's not what black wants. So what else can black do? We were over here. It was black to play a 6-4. The much better play is 6 and 4 like that. What does that do? That creates a prime of your own for black. Now it's white on roll, and perhaps white rolls something big, like a 6-1. Boom, white has to come in, and now the situation is exactly the same from the opposite side. Black has the full 6 prime. White is attacking in a futile attempt because black is eventually going to come in behind. What makes priming games so interesting is that all of the usual ideas of who's ahead and who's behind change. In this position, black's on the bar against a 5-point board, but black has the game won entirely. Black is in no problem whatsoever because black has the 6-point prime.
Are you nervous? No, I enjoy. I come here for fun. It will be very nice to be last 8 in the world. Try to do my best. Hook I know for 20 years already. I teach him to play in Germany. I was in Germany for one time for 3-4 months, and he started to play. So I know Humke very good. He's very good player, dangerous. It will be fun to watch.
So here we are, the business end of the tournament. 8 players remain in the quarterfinals.
These are big, big matches. Of course, this is the money round in Monte Carlo. That's big by itself. But also important to note is that the losers of these matches go straight to the last chance, along with everyone else that's lost. It's as though this whole week hasn't happened. So there is a huge amount of equity riding on these matches.
Ray Fogeland of the USA up against the Italian Luigi Villa, 2 seasoned campaigners who have both tasted success at tournament level. Here we see Philip Visjager of the Netherlands. He's been on the international tour for 2 years, and he's the Dutch Open champion twice. He is up against a strong opponent in the form of Timo Vartinen of Finland. Japanese player Kazuhiro Shino, victorious in the previous round against one of the big names in backgammon, Mike Falafel Nathanson, goes head-to-head against his quarterfinal opponent, the experienced Alexis Oromidis of Greece. What looks to be an intriguing matchup is the last quarterfinal between Andreas Humke of Germany and Gad Karmali of Israel, a finalist from 1999. Here we are with Shino and Oromidis. And you can see there's a lot of interest here around the table. Players have gathered to look on.
Well, Shino seems to be in command of this game. He's got a broken 5' with 2 checkers back behind it. He's on roll.
I love watching Shino play. He looks so calm, cool and collected.
Which is funny when you actually know him.
Yes, well, I've heard he's one of the interesting personalities on the tour, but just look at him here now. He's very focused.
Well, the dice have been favoring Shino all tournament long. It's easy to remain calm and collected when you're winning your matches by huge margins. He might be facing a little bit more of trouble at this moment.
Well, the pressure was on in earlier rounds. We saw that. We could feel the tension. I believe it's even harder now to stand here and watch what's going on, let alone be sitting there and rolling the dice in front of you. Back with Humke and Carmeli.
He has 1 point left to clear. This has been an amazing match. He took a big lead and then let Carmeli come all the way back. This is a last shake, and he rolls an ace. It's a 6-1. He's looking at how his other 3 checkers may be placed, but he must be sick to his stomach to have left this final shot. Can Carmeli roll an ace to extend this game even further? You can see Humke looking at Carmeli there. They know each other pretty well.
Well, that's cocked eyes. He'll have to go again, but he just needs an ace to stay in this game.
The tension builds. The game could be over.
Just look at Andreas.
And he rolls the ace, of course. Humke gives a little shrug of his shoulders, of course. That's what happens in backgammon. Notice Humke's still a big favorite. Humke has, 11 checkers off there. In fact, that's a very good roll. Humke comes in and is able to safety his last checker. Now Carmeli has to find a way to bring this game home against Humke's 13 checkers off.
Back here with Fischjäger and Timo. And it looks like Timo is dancing with 2 on the bar.
Yeah, Fischjäger is certainly in command in this position. Timo's able to bring in 1 checker, but Fischjäger is still on roll.
Well, we see sunglasses a lot in the world of poker. Tell me, are they common in backgammon?
Well, it's kind of funny. In poker, the idea with sunglasses is to hide your expression. And of course, you don't need to do that in backgammon, but some people seem to feel more comfortable. Here he wants to hide his expression because he's got to be unhappy. He's brought his final checker in. He's got to race him around the board. The issue here is not who's going to win the game. It's whether Fischjäger is going to win a gammon.
Well, with 2 backmen to bring round, it's going to be close. I imagine it comes down to the rolls at this stage.
It certainly does, but Fischjäger simply rolled a double there. That's really put a stake in the matter. Timo is going to have to roll some very, very big numbers. It doesn't look like he has. Oh, he has. He's rolled a double 5s. It might be enough. He's able to move all of his checkers around except for 1 last man there. There's a few numbers that won't work for him.
So a double is needed, and a double is he gets on the last throw to win a gammon. Back to Shino Oromidis. Shino only needing 1 point for victory.
And he's in a very good spot to achieve that. He's already borne off a few checkers, and his opponent is struggling here. It's pretty much all up to the dice. Shino's staring at his opponent. His opponent doesn't like what he sees. He's actually looking to see if he has a mathematical chance of winning. He brings in 1 checker.
And Shino throws a double, and it's all over. So Shino, first one through to the semi-finals.
Today's 2 matches are one of the easiest one. It's very smooth and just, I don't know. I didn't feel any, just to play the game. I don't think anything else. So.
But you do it quite well.
Well, you sometimes have to do well, you know.
Back to the battle between Carmeli and Humke.
Humke is certainly doing well in this game. He's bearing off his checkers, and Carmeli has many men back. The big question is going to be not even the gammon here. The backgammon seems to be at play. Oh, for once we see Humke not leaving a shot. That's interesting. He's taken off 4 checkers. Carmeli brings another man out. He's looking to see whether he wants to stay back and perhaps hit a final shot, or whether it might be right to simply bring out all the checkers and concede a gammon.
Now, is there a right or wrong move here, or is it just a matter of trusting your instincts?
No, there's definitely a right or wrong move. In the 70s, it was a matter of trusting your instincts, but now we know there are right and wrong moves. And here, given that Humke has exactly 4 checkers left, it's correct to concede a gammon. You don't want to risk losing a backgammon there. It might be right to stay back. In fact, it is right to stay back if Humke had 3 checkers there. But here we see Carmeli does. He concedes a gammon, the game is over. He simply does not want to lose a backgammon at this stage of the match.
Okay, so back with the Dutchman and the Finn. It is Fischjager and Timo. What's happening here?
Well, Fischjager's way ahead in a pure race. It looks like it's all going to be up to the dice, but Fischjager has the odds on his side.
So now Timo really needs to throw some big ones. And we have a discrepancy here. What's happening there?
Well, it's interesting. You've got a spectator there that's confirming what the position of the checkers were. It's kind of nice sometimes to have that outside observer.
Well, the Finn desperately needs doubles.
Yep, Fischjager's rolling along here. He knows that if he wins this game, he wins the match.
Well, there aren't many chances left for Timo.
And yet he rolls a double, so he's trying to make it competitive. That's always nice when your dice help your game plan here.
And I guess Fischjager, his heart may have had a little flutter here, but he's still in control.
It's just nerve-wracking when a big match comes down to who rolls the bigger numbers. It's almost as though we wanted some other way to play the game, but that's how the rules go.
Timo rolls, and it's a big double, and he stays alive.
Well, that's backgammon for you. It's a dice game.
So the scores are recorded, and they're going to continue their battle. What's happening here? Humke and Carmeli.
So we're seeing the continuation of the game that we left off earlier. Humke's got 4 checkers left on the board, but Carmeli has made great progress. He's brought the rest of his checkers around. Cock dice, they're agreeing that was a set of cock dice. Carmeli on roll.
And just look at Humke. You can't tell me that this game has no pressure and stress. The emotions, you can see it clearly on the face of the German.
What do we have here? So Humke knocked the table when he was rolling his dice, and now there's an argument about who gets to reset the position. Well, they've come to an agreement. No blows were struck.
Well, we know these gentlemen are friends away from the board, but just look at the tension. It's all happening here in this quarterfinal.
Yeah, Humke just needs to win one game to win this match. He's been needing to win one game for quite some time now, but the dice just haven't been complying this late in the match.
A 3-1 is not what he wanted there.
No, that's never what you want in a pure race. Carmeli's making it a little bit more interesting. He's left a gap on his ace points.
I don't believe it. 3-1 again.
Carmeli takes 2 more checkers off. Humke needs a big set, and then Carmeli would need to roll an ace. Humke is able to move his checker here, so he needs a big set on the next roll. Will Carmeli roll an ace? And let Humke roll once more. He does not. The match goes on.
Well, this is certainly a thrilling quarterfinal. I can't believe this one is panning out the way it is.
Humke really needs to bear down and keep his focus.
I'm really looking forward to see the conclusion of this one. And now we're back here with Luigi Villa and Ray Fogeland. Keep in mind that this is a live session with Snowy, and there are a lot of players outside at the stand watching this match also.
Well, Ray's in bad shape. He has 1 checker back. Of course, he's going to leave it hoping for a last-ditch shot. We just saw this same situation in a previous match. He's going to keep it back as long as he can, but he's not going to risk getting backgammoned. And here's the situation. He's down to 4 checkers. Of course, he's going to move his checker out and concede a gammon.
And this battle will continue. And we have another semi-finalist. Philip Fischjager of the Netherlands finally defeats Timo Vartainen.
The whole match was about even. At the end, I was lucky to win a gammon, to come at 20-18 ahead. I lost the Crawford match, so he came to 20-19. So then it's double match point, and I was lucky to win that game.
And now back with one of the most entertaining matches here in the quarterfinals, Humke and Carmeli.
Well, the frustration level for Humke has simply been rising throughout the last few hours. He's been well ahead in this match and has only needed 1 point to win, but he just can't win that last game. So here he is in a pure race, and he's far behind once again. He's got 3 checkers in the outfield, whereas Carmeli has taken a lot of checkers off.
Well, just look at the expression on Andreas's face. The tension is really mounting here. And does the wall of players around you add to the atmosphere? Does it affect your play?
Well, it affects different people in different ways. I kind of like it. I know that I'm playing an important match. And in fact, these players are very well experienced. I don't think they're going to get thrown by the idea that lots of people are watching. It just increases everyone's attention and says, let's perform right here. Of course, Humke's not performing right here. He's not going to win this game, but he knows the match isn't over. He simply needs to win one more game.
He's unable to do it here. And Carmeli, he's going to take a break. A break is what needed to perhaps cut a bit of the tension.
Well, with that game, Carmeli has tied up the match. They're about to play one game, double match points, to see who goes to the semifinals. Of course, they're taking a break. They're regrouping their thoughts. They're talking to their friends, and they're about to play really a one-point match just for a huge sum of money and a huge chunk of glory.
Well, with all the tight matches that Andreas has been in this tournament, perhaps the time has come where his luck runs out. Luigi Villa here, just 1 point away from a semi-final berth.
And it looks like he's in a position to do exactly that. He's got one checker chopped behind his prime. Ray Fogerlund needs to escape. He needs to roll a 6, and perhaps he can bring it home from there, but the pressure is on him. He's smiling. He rolls. He does not look like he's moving forward. No, his checkers are moving forward in his inner board. Now it's up to Luigi. Can he close out his prime and wrap this game up?
Not the best roll. What is Luigi trying to do?
Well, what he'd like to do is hit Ray's last checker off the edge of his prime. He'd like to send that checker to the bar. He's not so worried about being hit back because Ray's board is crunched. Ray has all of his checkers up in his ace and deuce points. But apparently he's unable to, which means that Ray is going to have a chance to roll a 6 to leap out. This means that if Ray were able to roll something like double 6s, he could turn the game around and suddenly be winning, maybe even winning a gammon. But the onus is still going to be on Ray. Can he come out and avoid being hit?
Well, the tension's here. We can see it not only in the faces of the players, but look at the onlookers around the table here.
And it's not just those players. We can see this match is being broadcast live on the internet. Many, many players that aren't able to make it to Monte Carlo are getting to watch this excitement right now. That broadcast is also available here in the foyer. Here you get the expert commentary as well from the Canadian player Hugh McNeil, if you choose to see that as opposed to experience the tension of the moment in the room. And here Ray has leaped with the 6. He was able to hit. This is perhaps a big turnaround. Of course, Villa's going to be able to enter because he's only got a 2-point board, and he enters immediately and hits back. He rolled double 5s. You can see Ray had a moment of thinking things were going to go his way. But they didn't. So here is Ray rolling, hoping to enter. He's able to enter, but not leap. That's his last checker, so he only moves. He only takes one of his 2 rolls because he has nothing else on the board to move. Luigi really wants to hit this checker. If he has any number at all that's going to help close it out, he's going to use it, and he does. We can see he's playing the 6 there, as well as hitting loose. This is a little interesting. He has left 2 blots in his inner board. That's certainly the correct play. Ray fans, Ray really needed to enter at that point and hit those checkers. It's going to be all Luigi from this point.
Luigi here with a 6-4.
The 6 is forced off, and that means he's not going to be able to safety both blots. This is quite amusing. What this means, Ray is talking to the crowd, he's leaving Ray Fogerlund a 6-2 from the bar, which is the roll that he's most famous for, but he doesn't roll it.
Luigi completed the closeout and now is bearing off.
Ray's still on the bar. It's unclear whether he's hoping to come in or hoping just to hit a shot, but either way, his winning chances are pretty low.
And we have a double 2 here by Luigi.
Well, any number that doesn't leave a shot is simply good for Luigi.
Cocked dice will have to have a re-roll.
He comes in, and you can see he's not happy about it.
So it looks like it's going to be Luigi here going through to the semi-finals. It looks like a formality, and only an absolute miracle can save Ray here.
Well, Ray's not going to give up until he's mathematically eliminated. It's looking grim, but of course, we never know what the dice do. We've seen some amazing turnarounds before in this tournament.
Well, he's been in this position before, and I would think that he's going to go through again to the semi-final level, that is. Is Luigi a chance?
It looks like Luigi is through to the semi-finals once again.
Well, other 2 times I arrived in semi-final. In 80, 88. I lost in semi-final.
Okay.
So
And this year?
This year, I think that I won.
And now back to the titanic battle between Humke and Carmeli. It's double match point and Humke in a terrible position.
He's rolling now to enter. It doesn't really matter whether he enters. Of course, his worst roll here would be double sixes. That would enter all checkers and would mean that he had no chance to hit a shot. And Carmeli rolls a 6-5. You can see he's laughing. He's forced to leave a shot. It's a pretty amazing turn of events here. Is Humke going to roll a 5 and turn this game around?
Well, Humke puts his earpieces in, perhaps to sort of say, come on, I need any little bit of help or luck or something to turn this game. A 5 is what I need. And look at the emotion by the German. He rolls a 5.
This is a pretty stunning turn of events. Of course, the players are a little bit punchy here. Andreas Humke is not giving a victory wave. He's far from victory. He still has to contain that final checker and win from there.
And look at Carmeli. He returns the gesture. Now what's going on here?
Well, Carmeli's saying, you haven't won yet. This is pretty funny. The players, this has been a very, very long match, and the players are a little bit punchy here. I don't think they'd be behaving this way with anyone else. They know each other very, very well, but it's kind of fun to see.
Well, I've never seen any sort of gamemanship like this in backgammon before, but it's entertaining.
It certainly is, but let's go back to the game. Humke needs to hit this checker, contain it, close it out, and then win from there. Carmeli only has 2 checkers off, so if he is able to close that final checker out, he should be able to eke out a victory here. The question is simply, will Carmeli be able to scoot his final checker around and win from there?
Now, I'm sure pressure on both players. To me, Carmeli, he looks a little bit more calm. He's got a smile on his face from time to time. Humke, he looks stressed, but just as I say that, a little grin on his face. Boy, this has been one battle.
Well, this has been a 4 or 5 hour match. It's for a huge stake, a berth in the semifinals of the Monte Carlo World Championships. These two people have played each other many, many times before. They both know that the moment is huge, and they're just trying not to make a mistake right now. But of course, they're going to take some extra time. What's happening right now is Carmeli is looking at the optimal place to put that one checker to give it the best chance of not being hit. He's counting shots, and he leaves it a little bit further behind.
With only one spot in the semi-final remaining, all focus is on Andreas Humke and Gad Carmeli. Which of these two will go on to meet 2-time champion Luigi Villa in the semi-final?